As I talk about this show, please note that it is understood that a certain amount of producer manipulation is present, and I can only talk about events as they are edited and presented on this show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever or wherever you are watching. Let's get into the Courtship episode 3. Miss Remy is greeted by her sister, Miss Danny Baker, and her best friend, Miss Tessa Cleary, who tell her that she will be playing cricket. Side note, not only is Miss Remy beautiful, her sister and her best friend are as well. Simultaneously, the men are told that they will be playing cricket. Remy and her friend think that it's going to be a game on horses. Her sister tells her that's polo. The Connecticut in me wonders how one could confuse those. I could see if it was croquet, because it starts with a C. I used to play that in my grandparents' backyard, and that's probably the most Connecticut thing I've ever said. Anyway, cricket is similar to baseball, except instead of a baseball bat, there's a cricket bat, and instead of a pitcher, there's a bowler. Everyone convenes outside to start the cricket game. Mr. Bocchicchio, or Bocchicchio, I don't know whether it's Bocchicchio or Bocchicchio, I can't say. Mr. Bocchicchio kisses Miss Remy in front of everyone. The other guys feel some type of way about this. Mr. Shanklin is up at bat first. He says since his mother's from the UK, he should have an advantage. Mr. Cones is up next. He strikes out and says beer pong is more his sport. Mr. Hunter hits 6 runs. Miss Remy and her sister sit together having refreshments. Did you notice that there were other people seated at tables around them? Who were they? Mr. Saffa goes over and surfer talks to Miss Cleary. He says that it's been a long time since he's talked to someone attractive. She asks him if he sees himself with Miss Remy, and he says she's not his type. He likes dirty blondes. Since he had no idea who the woman on the show would be, why would he sign up for this show? The woman could have been of indigenous, Asian, or of African descent. If he only wanted to date white women, why is he taking up space on this show? 2 reasons. Number 1, he just assumed that the woman would be white because in the last 20 years of Bachelor or Bachelor type shows, 99% of the women have been white. And from what I hear, because I don't watch The Bachelor or Love Island, I hear that the black women are usually off the show after the first couple episodes. So I don't even know why they continue to participate in those type of shows. Oh, I know. It's to get Instagram followers. Pride and dignity be damned. Which leads me to Saffa's second reason for being there, Instagram followers. He says he's a model, but he looks too bulky to be a fashion model. He probably could get some fitness or maybe commercial work, but then he just might be an Instagram model and that's it. Who knows? I do know he ain't about shit and he's shiesty for even trying to flirt with Tessa. Anyways, Mr. Saffa strikes out. Again. Mr. Castronovo gets a hit, but has some trouble running in those boots. Miss Remy's parents call him Mr. Personality and say that he would fit in well with their family. Mr. Mumbrey gets a hit. I don't want to assume he's automatically played this before just because he's British, but he does look like he's played this before. He also gets a nice hug from Miss Remy. Mr. Kim shows her a Korean heart with his fingers and tells her what it means. She says Sherry knows that because her cousins are Korean. She also tells him he's one of the most attractive people that she has ever seen. That was really sweet. I swear her sister, Miss Baker, got the best hit, but Mr. Mumbrey caught it before she had a chance to run. Mr. Chapman decides to play barefoot. He gets a hit and is very fast running between the wickets. Miss Remy tries to speak with him, but he's so into the game he shrugs her off. Complete jock energy. So she ends up speaking to Mr. King. He holds her hand as he speaks with her. Mr. Mumbrey comes back up to bat and hits what looks like the cricket equivalent of a home run. Mr. Holland also plays barefoot, and he hit it out of the park. At this point, Miss Remy has to select a man of the match to give a trophy to. She selects Mr. Mumbrey. Mr. Castronovo and Mr. Bocchicchio talk about being picked last and being Italian. Miss Remy is chilling with Mr. Kim. They look so comfortable together, and Mr. Castronovo interrupts them so he can try to spit game to her. Mr. Kim now has a bit of a competitive animosity towards Mr. Castronovo. The men ask Mr. Saffa what he's going to do with Tess. He tells them he wants to get to know Miss Cleary. They side-eye him. Like, is this motherfucker for real? Meanwhile, Miss Cleary and Mrs. Baker tell Miss Remy what Mr. Saffa tried to pull. Miss Remy invites Mr. Holland for a one-on-one date. They go horseback riding, and I am very impressed that she was able to ride side saddle. That's not an easy thing to do. They have a lovely picnic. Mr. Holland tells her that he has a 1-year-old child. Sir, why are you on a dating show so soon after the birth of your child? That baby may have only been 6 to 8 months old during the casting process of this show. I'm side-eyeing you. This doesn't faze Miss Remy though, because she kisses him too. Then he shows her his New York dance. After the date, Mr. Holland tells the rest of the men that the date went very well. Miss Remy has a conference with Mrs. Baker and Miss Cleary. They go over the men that she's not feeling. Mr. Chapman, who she says needs to be more than just a pretty face. Mr. King, who, like I said, all she knows about him is his trauma. And Mr. Saffa, who just... I seriously don't know why she didn't send him home week 1. I still think the producers made her keep him on this show because he's goofy. It's dance card time, and Miss Remy comes through in a beautiful sky blue dress. Miss Baker's dress is gorgeous as well. Captain Kim looks super nervous since he's been called down to the floor twice. For her farewell dance card, this time she calls Mr. Chapman, Mr. Shanklin, Mr. King, Mr. Saffa, and Mr. Castronovo. Captain Kim sighs in relief. She dances with Mr. Saffa, and all he has to say is, "Don't do it," which he whispers in her ear, and I found that extra creepy for some reason. But you know I don't like Mr. Saffa. His valley boy dude bro ass would have been sent home day 1 if it was me. So she tells him she knows what he's up to, and he took a space from someone she sent home who wanted to stay, Mr. Echevarria. She didn't say that specifically. I'm telling you who it was. I think it was Mr. Echevarria. Anyway, she dismisses him, and don't you know this bozo tried to kick it to Miss Cleary? He's gonna ask if he can speak with her. And Miss Remy was like, "You don't need to speak to her." And then Miss Baker immediately backs her sister up, repeating in a type of authoritative voice only a big sister can, "You don't need to speak to her." He says something in his exit interview while choking back tears. I didn't care to listen to what the hell he had to say. Oh well. Next is Mr. Chapman. They dance and talk. She tells him to make more of an effort, and he promises to do so he gets to stay. Then she dances with Mr. Shanklin. Same thing. He says he's going to step his game up too. It's now Mr. Castronovo's turn. She says she's not sure she feels the passion. Specifically, she keeps saying his Italian passion. He says he's going to show her, so he gets to stay. Finally, it's Mr. King's turn, and he knows that he's going to be the one going home. Everyone is in tears. Mr. King is crying. Miss Remy is crying. Miss Remy's mother is crying. Mrs. Baker is crying. If this scene is scripted, I don't care. It was beautifully done. They said the nicest goodbye anyone could ever want. The host tells us 9 suitors remain, but not for long. And just like that, 2 new guys come walking through the door. The 9 suitors are not happy about this. Just when they thought they were getting closer to Miss Remy's hand, here come 2 more men to steal her attention. And with that, that's the end of my notes. Thank you for rocking with me until the end of this video. What did you think of this episode of The Courtship? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, one love.